And so I'm going to bring them on the camera, and we're going to get started right away. Sorry, guys. Give me 1 second. There you go. Hey, guys. How are you doing?
Good, thank you. Doing really well.
Awesome. Awesome.
Good.
Susana, how are you?
Good.
Awesome. Guys, if you guys can hear me, just let us know. Just say yes or hello or hi or Paul or Susana in the comments, just so that we know that you guys can hear us. Let us know where you guys are from as well, and also what you guys are teaching online. That's always really interesting to know, so we can kind of craft our conversation around your topic or your kind of where you're at with your online course journey. Paul, Susana, why don't you guys take a turn and introduce yourself, what you guys do, and where you guys are at right now.
Sure. Thank you. I'll go first.
Rock, paper, scissors. Yeah.
My name's Paul Thomson. I'm an online course specialist. I help online entrepreneurs build and sell online courses. And excited to be here and chat through this kind of newer area of marketing courses. So influencer marketing taking off. Can't wait to hear what Susana has to say. I'm looking forward to the chat.
Yep, and my name is Susana, and I am based in Los Angeles, and I do influencer marketing for brands on the brand side. And I just developed a course that we're finishing up called Learn Influencer Marketing. It's the Influencer Marketing Roadmap course. So just from A to Z, sort of a roadmap or a cookbook, if you will, of how to create influencer marketing programs in the brand side.
Awesome. Well, very good to have you guys here. As we promised, we're going to talk about influencer marketing. So if you guys have any questions, you guys are watching this live or on the replay on Facebook or YouTube, feel free to drop your questions into the comments. We're going to be diving in there very shortly. But if you guys could just kind of, give us some sort of like a couple steps back and tell us, what is influencer marketing? A lot of people kind of think of it as, hiring somebody on Instagram and paying them, a big sum of money to just post something that pushes to your product. But it's a lot more than that. So I'd love for you guys to just kind of, give us sort of the lay of the land of what influencer marketing is in 2019.
So influencer marketing in 2019 has really evolved. And I think there's still an education process that needs to happen. But the misnomer is that you have them post one thing on Instagram and then the brand basically goes viral. It doesn't work like that. It's a long-term relationship with influencers, and you ask them to do a few things for you, including posting on social and talking about your product on video or creating a blog post. And it should be, if done correctly, a long-term relationship with the brand. And it should be super targeted, super niche targeted. And that's just the sort of the short story on that.
Awesome. Paul, how do you see influencer marketing, sort of your experience with it and what it is really all about beyond just like posting, getting somebody to post about you on Instagram?
Yeah, I think it's just all about building that trust and credibility with your audience in a really quick, effective way. Traditionally without influencer marketing, you had to rely on your own ability to create a value exchange of trust. And I'm an expert, or I'm, notable in this field and I know what I'm talking about. Influencer marketing just allows you to half that time, right? If there are people following these influencers who have already created the relationship, because that's what it is. It's a relationship that influencers have with their audience. They've already created a relationship. All you're doing is you're leveraging that rapport. You're leveraging that credibility that they've created. And so I see it as being like a huge value exchange and a great little frontier to tap into. I think it's probably much more, what would you say, profitable or value. You get a lot more value for money out of influencer marketing than you do out of, paid advertising and even organic advertising.
Absolutely. I mean, I agree too.
Yeah,
I think you can get a lot more for, with the right partnership and influencer. I think you get a lot more ROI on your advertising money and marketing budget. Susana, can you kind of like take us through some of the activities that an influencer can do with your brand, outside of just like posting on social? What other, is it like blog swaps or anything else that an influencer can do for your brand?
There's so many different things you can do. What you could do is you could really crowdsource sort of an article on your site. You can invite influencers from a from different areas that they're experts in, and then you can write an article about influencers and have them comment or talk about, give their point of view, and you have an article with like 10 expert opinions, and that can be evergreen content on your site, and then they'll be sharing that information as well with their audience. And right there you have 10 influencers talking about your brand, and then they were also guest posting on your site. So that's a really great way to do something, which is sort of a B2B way to do it, and you can even do it for B2C. But a blog post is a perfect example of something that really has a far reach.
Awesome. Sounds good. And as far as like if somebody was looking to get started with influencer marketing and making that part of their marketing plan, whereabouts would they start? Like, would they start, Google searching, or like looking at blogs or Instagram, like, famous people that are in their space? Like, how would they go about kind of looking for influencers to work with?
The best way to start is really looking at the platform where you know your target audience to be. So if your target audience is on Facebook, go look on Facebook and look through hashtags, look through searches. If you think your target audience is on LinkedIn, go to LinkedIn and look at target searches and topics and find your influencers, see what they're talking about, and then start with them as if you were at like in a real life event, like a cocktail party or something. Get to know them and find out what their interests are, let them know why you like them, and start a relationship. I would say, I mean, I know you want to get a campaign done and it should be really, really quick, but in order to work with influencers, they're people. You really want to make sure that you're tapping into the right people, and you have to make sure that they really are interested and engaged in your brand from the beginning. So starting a relationship.
So great. So start a relationship and really engage and get to know that influencer, right? It's not just like, hey, you look like you are in fitness, let's hire you kind of thing. So that's really good. That's a really good tip. I want to talk about fees, and people are always kind of like, how much do you pay? How does that work? I had a friend of mine who, is I guess considered an influencer, and she was wondering how she, if we've ever hired an influencer to be like at our booth at a conference. And so she was wondering like, hey, how did you guys price that out and everything like that? So like, influence and clout and stuff like that, I guess it's a really hard thing to, I guess put a value onto, but like, how would somebody maybe, structure that pricing fee with an influencer? I guess any thoughts on that?
Usually it's by the thousands. So there are charts out there, and there seems to be an industry standard that's really starting to take place within the agency world. And what I'm seeing is if you have, so it's cost per thousand, basically. If you have 50,000 followers, you usually get paid $500 for a post. And it seems to be across the board. If you have to show up for an event, they're sort of looking at it the same way. They might give you a little more for showing up as opposed to posting. And then they sometimes bundle together activities. So if you're going to do a story and a post and a blog post and maybe show up for an event, then it's a bundle price. If you're going to do like a 3-month engagement for them, it's a bundle price.
Mm-hmm. Got it. So it depends on that. Okay, got it. And Paul, I want to ask you, like, Paul, like, as far as working with influencers, how can that work into, because I know you're very sharp with your digital marketing tactics. How would that all kind of work into, online course creators and, your content and that sort of thing? How would that kind of work out?
Yeah, so I see the leverage point for influencer marketing with courses and selling courses, dabbling into a little bit of affiliate marketing as well. So not only paying for the influencers to represent your course or your brand or what you're launching, but also putting the power of the selling point of affiliate sales behind them as well. So giving your influencer a link to your course. Thinkific does an awesome job at that, being able to hash out affiliate links, getting them as an affiliate of the course, and then they would earn a kickback, right? They would earn money off every sale that they push to your course. So again, it just gives them extra incentive, adds more value to the project for taking on the course. And it's even, gosh, like it is so much more powerful if they are even like use the course, or it's in their niche or in their market, you know, and it's something that's really understandably like this makes sense for this influencer to be selling this course. It matches their brand. Then there's a good synergy there, right? There's a good alignment, and then they can go out and push that course forward. So that's where I see it being really useful. First of all, second of all is when we're looking for credibility. You know, testimonials on a sales page are hugely rewarding in terms of the conversion rate and the psychology of the buyer going into buying that course. So if you had influential people giving testimonials for you or your content, specifically your course would be ideal. That is just going to drive so much more trust and value in your course sales. You know, so that alone can really kind of help you leverage that sales page conversion. Just a quick tip with the testimonials on the sales page: always put a photo with the testimonials. Like never leave just the testimonials as text based. Always put a photo there. And some people opt for video testimonials. They feel like video is the biggest, the best version of a testimonial. Is that, you know, people who are jumping through your course and on a lunch break kind of thing, they don't have the time to go through 10 8-minute videos testimonials, right? So they might click on the first one or two, but they won't watch the rest. And if they click on two, that's like 16 minutes of their time that they've watched. And you've got to then convince them in the other 14 minutes that this sales page or this course is for them, right? Say you had like about a 30-minute slot. And so when you think of it that way, I mean, break it down into that text-based bite-sized pieces, whack a photo up there, and give them the opportunity for the videos, but just really use that value of the quick skim. And they see the face, they see the name, like, oh, they said something nice about the course. That's awesome. And then kind of move on from there.
Awesome. Yeah, I like that. Touching on affiliate marketing and obviously credibility from those influencers that go through your course, and then using video testimonials. That's great. Anthony, our friend here, Anthony, I think, who is also from Australia, with a really cool company out there. He has a couple questions here on Facebook Live. First one is, what can you offer if you're a new business and don't have a budget to pay, like directly for the influencer? So maybe, affiliate, a little bit of affiliate commissions could be sort of that. Any other creative ways that you guys have kind of seen newer brands or entrepreneurs get into working with influencers?
I think that the best thing to do if you're a newer company is if you can offer them an experience. They love experiences because it makes their content interesting. At the end of the day, if you're an influencer, the only reason anyone's following you is because you have interesting content. So if you can give them an experience and a free product to go with your brand, if you're doing a launch and you have an experiential launch and then you have free product, that's actually content gold, and you can use that forever and ever. And they will most likely come to your event, have a great time, use your product. Later they'll say, hey, I'm still using it, look how great this is. And they'll probably want to work with you again. So then they'll want to post about the product again and remind you that you had invited them to an event. So those are really a great way to go if you have a limited budget. If you have a super limited budget, then the best way to go is just to offer them some free product and an affiliate link, and see if they're willing to do some content with you, and offer them something else, maybe a guest blog post on your site for exposure, or even a guest social media posting day for them to take over your account. That's really great for content creators as well. They just want cross promotion opportunities.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. So free products or services or an experience, and then also obviously affiliate commissions. No, that's a really good tip. So Anthony, hopefully that helps answer your question there. Anthony had another couple questions here. The next one was, who was the first influencer that you guys had worked with, and what did you do to to make that happen? You still remember?
It's a while ago. Probably one of my, 2012 was one of my first. We did a lot of campaigns before then, like 2010, but I think one of our big things was 2012. We did a guest campaign, and it went viral, and Mashable wrote about it, and it was the top 5 Pinterest campaign for that year for 2012. But it was for fashion influencers, and they're pretty big now. They were just starting out, so those were probably one of our big ones. But fashion influencers have always been the ones on the forefront.
Fashion influencers. Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. Paul, have you ever worked with, do you remember your first time you've ever worked with a brand or anything? Like, obviously you're working with Thinkific, right? So
yeah, there we go. Yeah.
There you go.
Super famous here. But in terms of the influencers that I've worked with, I haven't had influencers represent me per se. However, I have worked with influencers to help them with their courses and with their content, right? So I've been on like the opposite side of the influencer marketing, helping the influencers market themselves. Kind of a backwards approach to this conversation, but yeah. So we've also had clients that have come through the agency and through the company who have leveraged, again, really influential people to help sell or push their product, their course. Call it joint ventures, influencer marketing, affiliate marketing. There was kind of like a blend of all of those 3 industries or pillars, and they all kind of combined into one.
Fantastic. Yeah, I mean, obviously, also influencers do also need to do marketing, so that makes sense that you help them. That's great. I've got another question. There's a few questions kind of coming at us here, so I'm just going to keep rolling with them. Monica from YouTube Live is asking, how would you find a company that I could make YouTube videos for? So I think she's on the other side where she's looking to be a sponsored person that she can create YouTube videos for brands. So I think this might be a really good opportunity to drop that. Tell us a little bit about your course, and also if you have sort of any suggestions for Monica as far as like getting sponsorship.
Okay. So my course is an influencer marketing course on the brand side. So I teach brands how to contact influencers and work with them, and I teach them how to target the right influencers for their target audiences, meaning we want to make sure we find the niche audiences that will resonate with their target audience. For you, Monica, my suggestion is to find the brands that you think resonate with who you are as an influencer. So if let me give you an example. If you're an influencer in the health and wellness space and you only like gluten-free products or paleo products, find the companies that do those type of products. Hopefully you're already using some that you're big fans of, and contact them and let them know how much you like their products. Figure out who their PR firms are, who their marketing inside brands are, and contact them. Let them know who your following is, what you have to offer, how many people follow you on each of your platforms, and what your point of view is. And hopefully they'll see the passion and they'll want to work with somebody like you. Because the great news is right now, the biggest thing that's on the rise are nano influencers and micro influencers, because the Gen Z group is really interested in authenticity. So some of the brands that are working with the huge influencers who are super polished, it's not resonating with the Gen Z group. So to reach the Gen Z group, actually, the brands are now working with nanos and micros that have smaller following, but a super targeted following. So if you have a super engaged following, but you might not be huge, that's a good way to go.
Interesting. Yeah, there you go. So Monica, hopefully that answers your question. Paul, did you have anything to add there as far as like getting? Yeah, go for it.
I did, but it was just a little bit, might have been a little bit separate to this conversation. Something that Susana just mentioned was that, looking for the influencers, the nano, the micro influencers, bigger brands and things like that. One thing that a lot of people might be confused about or get caught up on is influencer marketing isn't just about pushing your course to someone who has tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of followers, and all this reach, and thinking that that's going to get you more sales. It has to be with your ideal student or customer in mind, right? You have to understand that it doesn't matter how big the influencer is. If you are selling, so say I am selling a course on how to how to fix cars, right? That's going to be my course. And I sell it to this fashion blogger comes along and she's got 3 million followers and they're all into like the makeup and beauty products and and luxury holidays. Right? None of those people, even though my course is going out there and getting pushed to that influencer marketing, none of those people are going to end up buying my course. So you have to really, really think ahead to who you are trying to attract and who your ideal client is, which we've probably done, a lot of that work in the prep for your course anyway. I know Thinkific has a ton of great resources on their blog to be able to help you get there. But you have to look at your ideal, student or client and work out who are they looking up to, who is influencing them, who is leading their industry, and then go for those people, because that then is going to come back around and get you sales in your course.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And do you have any tips, Paul, on how to understand that? Like, maybe is it part of the, like the survey, after they complete the course or something like that, where they're like, hey, who do you follow online? Or like, what other pages are you following on Facebook or something like that? Like, is there anything that you can suggest?
Yeah, so I would say that it comes in the research stage. When we are trying to understand our ideal clients' problems and issues and what they're struggling with, what they need help with, we're generally going to be in a position where we are looking in where they hang out. We are working hand in hand with them, we're following them, we are investigating and researching. Those people are going to naturally be sharing articles, talking about current news events, and they will be inadvertently recognizing or highlighting particular people in the industry that they follow, right? So if you're in the digital marketing space and you are doing courses on Facebook ads or marketing or social media, all of those kind of things, you would be inclined to think that people talk a lot about, Gary Vaynerchuk, right? Huge digital marketing brand. So you can see that just naturally marketers will share content based on Gary V. So therefore he's synonymous with the digital marketing space. And that can be said for every industry. If you're doing a course on, again, we'll do like the fashion bloggers, right? So if you're doing, or like beauty bloggers, if you're doing a course on, makeup and applying makeup and things like that, you are naturally going to be surrounded by or have an interest in or have skills in applying makeup and beauty products. Therefore, you're likely going to be following certain people on YouTube or on Instagram. And those are the people that all of your circle, all of these ideal clients are kind of referencing. So it's just in the research phase. Again, I think, Rob, that's a great question, mate. Like being able to kind of survey them at the end is handy to know. But I would go back even further. I'd have a look in the research stage and I would just map out just a few key influential people just to get them an idea, because that's going to help in your copy too. That's going to help in your marketing and in your messaging, because you can share stories about the Gary Vaynerchuks of the space. You can share stories about like for you, Rob, for like video marketing, you can share like stories about like Rob and what he's doing with video marketing, and the people who are interested in video marketing will be able to see like, oh yeah, he's doing really good like work. Let's go and like follow him. And you have this kind of influential back and forth.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's really good tips there. There's another question here. Thanks, Paul. Anthony's asking, have you ever had to say no to working with a brand or an influencer? Or maybe any of your clients have had to say no, maybe because maybe it's not a fit. There's one guy that actually, a good friend of mine here locally, he's he's sort of like an outdoor adventure influencer, but he's doing a deal with like this household product, and it doesn't make sense. But I mean, I guess he sort of like dictated what the copy will look like, what the ad piece will look like, and everything, and somehow it fits. But is there like maybe it's a matter of fit or something? Like, is there any reason why you would say no to a brand?
Yeah, I mean, well, on the brand side or on the client side, I've said no sometimes because maybe for example, from the brand side, I've probably said no because I didn't believe that what they wanted to get done could get done, or they were asking for something that wasn't possible because, as the expert in the field and seeing what can be done. And then when they tell you that they want certain things to be done and they can't be done. So I would say if there's not a fit, you just don't take something on for that reason. In terms of with influencers, we've said no from the brand side just because, it could be an amazing influencer, but maybe it just didn't mesh. Like there was no chemistry there. Sometimes you can see that. I can't stress enough. It's really a relationship. You know, when you see them on paper, you might think it's perfect. And then you get into a conversation with them and they're not talking about the same things that the brand is talking about. They don't believe in certain things, or they're questioning certain things. And just like any relationship, that's not a good way to start. And it's not authentic to then try to ask them to do something else because, you know, you want them in the campaign. It has to be authentic. And that's what I keep going back to. It is, you want an authentic conversation with the brand rep because people can see it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's great. That's a great answer to that question. As we kind of wrap up, if you guys have any more questions on Facebook or YouTube Live, feel free to drop them in the comments. Make sure you hit that like button as well. That'll help us to get this word out to as many people as possible. As we wrap up, I'd love to hear, you know, some of the mistakes, some of the things to avoid if you are a course creator looking to maybe work with an influencer. You know, that you can kind of share with them so that they can avoid it as well. But yeah, any mistakes or pitfalls that they should be avoiding?
I think that's a Paul question, right?
Yeah, Paul, you want to take that one?
Yeah, sure. So I think rushing into it too early, make sure that you have a product that you know has been tried and tested, you know, that it is validated before you're ready to sell it, that people are ready to buy it, that you've done your research, that you know that this is going to be a partnership with the influencer, right? Because you don't want to burn that bridge. You don't want to have the influencer coming on board, giving their trust to your, giving their trust to their audience, your trust to their audience. Oh my goodness, I don't know what I'm saying here. But you don't want them to be able to kind of lose out by delivering a product that either doesn't work or that is ineffective or doesn't live up to the standards. So just be sure that you've got all your ducks in a row and that you've done your kind of side of the bargain. You've done everything you can. That would be one of them. The second of all is to rely on influencer marketing or any one particular marketing, you know, channel to sell your course. If you are solely relying on Facebook ads, you are wasting money. If you're solely relying on email marketing, you're losing out on organic social traffic. If you're solely relying on social media, you might be missing out on direct marketing. So just really diversify your strategy, your marketing and launching strategy, and kind of leverage each of them into each other. So don't just kind of nestle on one and think that's all the only way I can sell this course. Really kind of spread your wings and get used to all the different types. I think those are probably the two things that I would look out for when using influencers to sell courses specifically.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I agree.
Awesome. Yeah, Monica is just saying here, man, I wish I had the $ to work with both of you guys one-on-one. So, so I'll leave the links to both of your sites and your social channels and everything. And Monica and everybody else, you know, feel free to connect with Paul and Susana. They're just a wealth of knowledge. And so, yeah, we will wrap it up from there. If anyone else has any questions, leave them in the comments. You guys are both in our Facebook studio group. So, you know, if there's any questions for you guys, we'll make sure to tag you. Any final words that you can share? Any tips about influencer marketing for online course creators out there?
I would say that if you're looking to work with influencers for an online course, make sure that you really niche target them and that they are going to understand exactly what your goal is for that course, because the last thing you want is for an influencer not to understand what you're trying to sell or what you are selling, and then they're out there with a message that doesn't resonate, and then the message gets confused because they are influential in that way. And then but then make sure to partner with them. It's a partnership, and that you should try to have a long-term partnership with influencers, because that will be really where the benefits come in. It's not from, you know, day one or month one. It's a little bit longer than that, because that's how these relationships build, and that's how they've grown their audiences to trust them.
Awesome. That's great. And Paul, any last few words?
I think we've summed them up. I think just go for it. There's only one way you can try influencer marketing, and that's by trying it. You know, reach out to someone, just put it out there. Don't ever feel like too bad about like not having the money, or you think you're, you know, underworth or underpriced. just like have transparency and say, look, you know, I'm exploring influencer marketing for the first time. This is my budget. Is this something that you are interested in? If not, that's okay. But if it is, I would love to work with you. You know, you can just be really gentle about it. You don't have to try and like have it be this really stressful position. Just kind of lean in and create that conversation. You never know. Sometime down the track, if it doesn't happen now, then it could happen later. And that person will really, really appreciate it. And they'll be like, wow, yeah, they were really kind when they reached out to me last time. So yeah, I would say just go for it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much to both of you. You guys, so I think influencer marketing is such a huge topic. You know, half an hour is not enough to really kind of uncover even just a little bit of it. But, you know, visit Susana's new course that she's launched. I put it down in the comments. Check it out. And I'll put the links to both of your social profiles as well. And then anybody watching this live on the replay, feel free to connect. And hopefully it's okay that I'm inviting them to DM you guys.
Yeah, sure,
come in.
Sure.
Yeah.
Slide on in.
Slide
Yep,
into
sure.
the DMs. Yeah.
Anytime. Yep.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much to the both of you. You guys are awesome. And really glad to have you guys both as friends of Thinkific. And thanks to everybody who watched live and anybody watching the replay. Thank you so much again. We'll see you guys on the next one.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks for having us. Bye.